Okay, our next speaker, talking about standing up and fighting back, is very necessary. Our next speaker is Shirley Franklin, who is the chair of the Whittington Hospital Defence Coalition. She was one of the key organisers of the massive demonstration just before the last general election that stopped the cuts then, and politicians were falling over themselves to be in defence of the NHS. Well, surprise, surprise, the fight is on again. Here you go, Shirley.
Well, if you want resistance, it's certainly happening around what they're doing at the Whittington Hospital. There's a lot of people who are really angry, absolutely, well, and anxious actually, really furious, really steaming. As Simon was saying, we won last time round because there was that anger and anxiety. Well, it's like 10 times that amount over what's going on there at the moment, which we could see. We had held a public meeting a couple of weeks ago that Owen spoke at, and it was phenomenal. We were going around leafleting. We knew it was going to be big, and it was so big that we had to have a PA system around the whole building. We had a 600 people there. It was phenomenal. People are really, really disgusted about what's going on, and I just want to briefly tell you what's going on at the Whittington. It was exactly a month ago that the board of the Whittington Hospital met sort of in secret. I mean, there are papers on the website, but like, the one paper that was the crucial one about the estate strategy was 112 pages long, and just impossible to read. So there's all this stuff on the website that's unintelligible. So they had this rather secret meeting, and at this rather secret meeting they decided that they were going to sell off 1/3 of the buildings, which includes all the staff accommodation. They decided they were going to get rid of 570 jobs, that includes 220 nurses. Actually, of course, it doesn't matter because lots of that will go by natural wastage. It doesn't matter that those people are going. The buildings that are going, it's the bit that's, it's 1/3 of all the buildings, and it's the accommodation for staff, which of course means no staff. If you read between the lines, it means we're going to have very little health resources. Now they say this is great because actually we're going to have this wonderful community health. When they took over when the new executive came a few years ago, they set up a thing called Whittington Health, not Whittington Hospital, and they took over local PCT amenities in Haringey and in Islington. And so what they're saying is absolutely fantastic is we're going to have brilliant community resources. We don't need hospital beds anymore. We're going to have 177 beds that were reduced from 420 because we don't need them anymore. It's better for people to recover in the community. The most amazing thing is they think we believe that. They came to our meeting and they sat there and they genuinely said, well, we don't need beds anymore in hospitals. Incidentally, the Whittington used to have 1,000 beds, and that's when the Royal Northern was open. And also, you had a hospital in Haringey. In Haringey, there is no hospital, is there? So, I mean, it's your local hospital, it's your local campaign, so I certainly hope you're going to get very involved, as a lot of people are in Haringey, and certainly a lot of people in Islington and Camden. Why are they doing it? What's all this about? Well, surprise, surprise. It's the so-called Health and Social Care Act, which this government brought in 2010, which basically requires all hospitals to become foundation trusts, to get foundation trust status. So they become nice little units all ready for privatisation. That's what it's about. And so the hospital is becoming this nice little polyclinic type unit that will be all ready for privatisation. So that's what it's about. It's also about massive cuts. They're going to make 17 million from selling those buildings if it goes ahead. So we totally understand that there's a national, ideological government reason for doing it. And so our campaign is to work locally, and it's just been phenomenal. We had the public meeting. Tomorrow we're going to lobby the board. That bloody board thought they could make a decision without even telling anybody, including, interestingly, the MPs. They didn't tell us all. So tomorrow, I hope you've all seen this, and that's quite useful because it has got the vital facts on it. We're going to go to the Whittington Hospital at 1:30, along with local television people, to tell the board that they are to withdraw their plans for foundation trust status. We have an inkling that we might have already won on that, actually. But that's what we're going to do. So we'd like everybody who can, I know it's a difficult time, it's an interesting time to have a board meeting, isn't it, on a Wednesday afternoon, but that's when it is. Do come along with banners and placards and join us. We've got a kind of 20 minutes of having fun outside the hospital, and then we'll go and have fun with the board members after that and tell them what we think of their plans and ask them to withdraw them. So that's tomorrow, and then what people, this anger that people have and anxiety is that, you know, as soon as this happened, it's like, when's the demonstration? Which is quite kind of, oh my God. So we've got a demonstration on the 16th of March. That's this thing that is taking place, and hopefully we haven't got the clearance yet, but they're making it difficult every step of the way, the coppers, but it'll hopefully meet at 11:30 at Highbury Corner. This is your hospital and your fight back, and you'll get a big buzz from coming to this, because it's brilliant how many people are engaged in this struggle. So come along to this. We're going to have speakers from other hospital campaigns. We're not the only hospital who's having hassles. I mean, other hospitals are having problems relating to PFIs, and it's all actually, of course, related to funding and aspects of privatisation. So we're having speakers from other hospital struggles. We're having speakers from trade unions. We've got, one of the things about our setup is that we're a coalition. We're a coalition of trade unions, and that's the trade unions inside the hospital. We've never been able to work quite so well. We did work quite well with them last time round, but it's fantastic this time round, working really well with the hospital trade unions and also the local trade unions, and as well as a coalition of the different political parties as well. So we're trying to bring people together. Unfortunately, there are local elections going on, and some of the political parties are tending to not realise that this is actually part of a very electoral setup, but we are hoping that people are really going to engage, everybody's going to engage, because we need to have a fight back. We need to have a fight back locally, we need to have a fight back in London. Now, around here, if the beds are cut back at the Whittington, the Chase Farm's already up for just about to close. Imagine what's going to happen to bed availability. I mean, sorry, the other thing to say is that they're already there on 94% bed occupancy. Can you imagine how dangerous that is? It should be 80 something or even 70, I can't remember what the figure is. It's a really, really high number, and they've often been on red alert that there aren't enough beds as it is. If they're going to close down beds, it's going to be a mega crisis across London, and of course that's going to be happening right the way across the country. So we're going for a London demonstration, we're going for a national demonstration. But actually, of course, that's not enough, is it? I mean, demonstration's great because then people are going to be able to see the anger, but really what we need is actually united action. We need people to take strike action, and it's not just the health workers. The health workers have a very tough time. There's a lot of bullying and intimidation, and actually the health unions at a kind of higher regional, national level are very, very difficult to work with. I understand there's been a terrible sellout from Unison today to the national conditions that they've sold out, and Unites, well, they're telling me that they're on their own at the moment, so that's pretty dire. So what we need to do is work towards building up a national campaign of action, because when they say cut back, we say strike back!